Hello, Avatar fans around the world. This is Toontown Triumph, and I am back to review Episode 2 of The Legend of Korra. From Episode 1, we can say that there are a few things that we can talk about to lead into Episode 2. First of which being the fact that we have established our main protagonist, the new avatar of the Southern Water Tribe, Korra, who is trying to settle in her new home in Republic City, as she is trying to master airbending as well as control the city as it becomes more corrupt and unstable. So how will she fare in this new environment? Well, let's dive right in. So we have our title card, A Leaf in the Wind, as it starts off with Korra reading a newspaper? First time I've seen that in a while. But with everything else we've seen so far, from Model T cars to photography, I guess this is pretty much inevitable. Who's that, an upcoming character? Possibly. Also, I tried to look up what that meant and found nothing. If anybody knows Chinese calligraphy and want to translate that for me, that would be much appreciated. They discuss something known as pro bending. What is it, a ripoff of pro wrestling and pro boxing? Well, guess we'll have to find out. And also, who are the people sitting behind them? What, do they have an airbending academy? Well, according to Avatar Wikia, they're known as air acolytes, people who aren't airbenders but who carry on the teachings of the air nomads. Actually, according to the site, Pema was one of these people. Back to the conversation. Tenzin, we soon learn, is going to train Korra today, but she feels she should have at least a little fun while she's on the island. So we skip a shot of them by the house as we see a lemur? Apparently Aang breeded them too? Whatever. Korra explains to Tenzin about her airbending block as Tenzin explains how Aang's natural opposite was earth. So wouldn't hers be fire? This isn't making much sense here. Well, I guess the fact that she ignored the spiritual side, like the previous episode explained, could be the explanation. They begin a training exercise where you need to avoid touching the walls of these gates as they are spinning. And as stubborn and impatient as Korra is, she winds up failing miserably. She was so eager to get to the first exercise that she literally runs into the first gate head-on. Ouch. So, it's now nighttime as Korra continues to fail at airbending. She begins to eavesdrop on members of the White Lotus as they're listening to a live broadcast of the pro-bending match happening right across the river to Tenzin's house. Tenzin, who somehow commands Jedi-like powers, calls Korra down as he tells her to go to bed. Man, stop being the dad. You are not her father. If she wants to go, let her go, for God's sake. That's probably why she's so impatient at airbending. And then, the next morning, the family is out meditating as Korra is once again having trouble finding her center. And once again, as she bitches about having to wanting to go somewhere, all Tenzin says is,
No.
Oh man, just let her do something, because before long she's gonna... Yup, I called it. She swims over to the arena, which doesn't look like it's too far from the house, as she finds herself in a gym and doesn't take too long to get caught. Then we possibly, or actually most likely, find our next main character as he leads Korra to the inner part of the arena. We soon learn that his name is Bolin, who fights on the pro-bending team known as the Fire Ferrets with his brother Maiko and his friend Hasuk. And then the match is on as they compete for their spot in the pro-bending tournament. Kinda reminds me of...
Let's get ready to rumble!
Oh yeah. Anyway, it seems from the looks of it, the three sports that this probably is most similar to are martial arts, boxing, and American football. Martial arts because, obviously, the fact that the bending is mainly based on martial arts in the first place. Boxing because it is based on a round system where you need to get a certain number of rounds or a knockout to win. And football because it is the only sport that I know of where you need to gain territory to earn points. After the team takes a very narrow victory, Korra tells Mako and Bolin who she is as we see a possible love triangle forming between the three. We soon learn that Bolin and Mako live in the attic of the arena, which is probably leaning on the fact that they are homeless. In the next scene, we see more of the same as 10 minutes ago, where this time she lets all her anger out and completely destroys the gates, and the two do even more bitching. The next scene isn't important, just more barking orders. We then skip a shot to the arena again, where we find that the waterbender Hasuk is absent for the match, and they need a third player. Korra is eager to try out pro-bending, but apparently did not read the rulebook. Not only that, it doesn't take time for her to mistakenly bend the wrong element and reveal her presence in the pro-bending tournament. And guess who was listening in? It doesn't take long for Tenzin to arrive as he orders Korra back to the temple. How many times has Tenzin commanded Korra in this episode?
You're not here to watch that drivel. You're here to finish your avatar training. So for the time being, I want you to remain on the island. Korra, come down here, please. I thought I made myself clear. I don't want you listening to this distracting nonsense. There's nothing to do. Korra, the meditation's not over yet. Once again, you have flagrantly disobeyed my orders. You were to stay on the island. Let's go. That is a ludicrous suggestion. The Avatar needs to learn airbending. It is not optional. So I am ordering you to come back to the temple right now.
Well, I'd say that's enough. Anyway, she refuses to go anywhere. She continues to fight for the tournament as we see what looks like a possible script error. First, Tenzin is going through the tunnel by the water, then all of a sudden he's leaving through the grandstands. Did anybody else notice that? I don't know. Well, anyway, she takes what she learned from Tenzin to heart as she uses his technique to dodge their attacks and eventually win the match. We then skip to the next scene back at the air temple where the two finally catch up with each other and apologize. Then, in the closing seconds, we then end with Korra and Michael looking at each other from a not so long distance, and it's probably like not even half a mile. Is Korra dreaming of possibly winning the pro bending tournament, or is something else on her mind? You decide. End of episode. So, what can we say about all this in episode 2? Well, the Avatar is finally making a name for herself as the show has expanded its reach to more characters and possibly new adventures. Korra still hasn't unlocked airbending, but is certainly taking steps to finally get it down. And in the last couple seconds of the episode, it definitely hinted toward a love triangle between Mako, Korra, and Bolin. And probably the biggest questions from the episode are, can the three make it in the tournament, and who will the Avatar end up falling for? So, that will do it for my review of episode 2. Stick around for my review of episode 3, which is coming up very soon. And also, guys, I'm beginning to review some of your comments on my Zuko's Mom video. I am hoping to make another one soon because I know very many of you have been asking about, they've mentioned it in Korra once, and they may actually mention it again if they do make any new episodes. So I'll make sure to comment on that. So, anyway, guys, hope you enjoy the video, and stick around for episode 3. Have a good one.